Hey, okay. So welcome to the Servetty stream. I'm Tom,
Anna.
and
Frank.
hey, so we're gonna be here for the next 3 hours or so, probably just talking about random stuff to begin with. But um, was there anything else that you wanted to talk about with the Pokemon Go that you guys
Wait,
were?
we were 2 seconds. Yeah, let's preface this a little bit. 2 seconds before going live, we were exchanging gifts on Pokemon Go, which shows you exactly how prepared for this we are.
You didn't open my gift until after I asked.
I'm
How
still
dare you.
mid-opening your gift. I'm pretty sure we stopped. I clicked on it. I don't know if the gift had time to open. It'll just be a surprise for later what I got. Yeah.
You're just not gonna get one back for 2 days now.
No, I'll give you one back. No, as soon as this is done, that'll be the first thing I do because I know proper Pokemon Go etiquette.
Yes.
Good.
Yes. We want to make sure that we have proper etiquette when we're.
Yes, this is what this stream is all about. This is just turned into Pokemon Go etiquette, the live stream. We'll be talking on a 100-hour series. What is the proper Pokemon Go etiquette? How to approach a random old lady you don't know who's playing Pokemon Go, who is dual wielding phones.
Do you ask for gifts from random people? Is that what it is?
So you add people as friends, and then you send gifts every day, and you get different kinds of items,
Okay.
and then you can invite them to play with you or remotely. So you can.
I've never done that.
The problem is if you have too many friends, you could be at work, and all of a sudden you have 10 people trying to request you into things. And you have to no, not right now.
So are people making Pokemon Go gangs or teams?
There are 3 teams.
There are 3 teams.
Okay.
You are so not knowledgeable about Pokemon Go. You're supposed to be our technology expert. Tom, you're our boss. You're supposed to know these things.
I don't play Pokemon Go.
Did you at least play original Pokemon?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Okay, he's got a soul, Anna.
Yeah, I had Pokemon Blue back in the day.
Yeah, I
Alright,
had
good.
Pokemon Red.
Yellow.
Yellow. I was gonna guess, I bet
Pikachu
you.
followed
I
you
bet
around.
you had yellow.
So anyway,
Yeah, welcome to the stream.
Servetty is a technology company.
And we know we know almost nothing about Pokemon Go.
Well,
But that's not what we're selling it on.
one third of us knows nothing.
We know many things about other topics, which is kind of the whole point of this stream is we're doing edutainment and hopefully also promoting the company a little bit.
Yeah, so Servetty is a business-to-business SaaS. So we help people who run service businesses, and we run the entire back-end operations of them. So anything from credit card processing to task management, communicating with your employees, communicating with customers, checking your metrics around things. That's basically what Servetty does. We run the behind-the-scenes framework to help your business either get online or continue operating more easily. So my background is I'm the technical co-founder of Servetty. Frank is our other founder, and Anna works with us sometimes. So
She's an outside expert
yes.
on many things.
So
She's our creative consultant.
we figured we would just create this live stream to not only just chat about random stuff. Hey, it's always good to get together in one room and talk about whatever, just shoot the shit. So we could talk about anything from business, technology, medicine, and entertainment because we have varied interests.
We like to pretend we're experts and we like talking about things like we know stuff. So that's always nice.
Yeah. So I wanted to lead it off. I checked my phone this morning. And have you ever sent a tweet out and then woken up and it has gotten way more visibility than you have ever thought?
I have not ever done
Slightly
that.
out of hand.
My tweets get very little visibility. I'm still waiting for Samuel L. Jackson to return one.
So I fired off a tweet before going to bed, which is always a great idea. And
I hear it's good after a couple of sleeping pills too.
Oh God, what did
I am a little drowsy. Let's do some last minute tweets.
Drinking.
You're drinking. You're taking your pills for the night, and you just want to, let people know where they stand.
So it wasn't that bad. It was a literary tweet.
A literary tweet.
So people were it was the Russian doll of tweets.
Okay.
So there was somebody originally screenshotted something, and it was about Edgar Allan Poe.
Okay.
And basically,
what did he tweet?
It was a cartoon, and the cartoon had 3 panels. The first panel is basically a cartoon Edgar Allan Poe fangirling over ravens. So he's got ooh eyes, and there's ravens all around him, and he's
as you would like to be remembered.
I might need to see this later.
So the first panel is like what the author wrote about,
Mhm.
and the second panel is like jump to kids in a classroom. They all look extremely bored. There's a teacher who looks like Peppermint Patty's girlfriend who's like teaching them, and the teacher's basically asking, what is the poem about? And the kids are like, I think it's just about ravens.
Yeah.
And then the third
I mean, it's a
panel
good assumption.
is like the quote unquote like payoff of the like, no, this is really about blah 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 blah, in terms of the like, you don't get the subtext of the raven, and then and then there's Edgar Allan Poe's ghost basically raging in
no.
behind her, like, why? Like, I actually love ravens. And that was the original tweet that set off this like chain of events. And the second person was like, imagine doing this with like Edgar. Imagine the term they used was like, the curtains were blue, which is basically...
Yeah. And it's like, what do you mean? And the author's just like, yeah, the curtains were blue.
There's nothing else.
It's like Hemingway, where he just like, and the road was white, and there was dust on the road, and the mountains, and it's like,
yes.
What is it? He's just explaining what he saw. That's what he literally saw. And that's
he's just adding context to the scene, whatever.
Yeah, there's not extra depth here.
And the person that like that tweeted this, I think, is correct in saying like, of all things to do with the raven is like very clear that you have the subtext of the raven has symbolizes death, etc., etc., etc. It's extremely spoiler. So what they probably did not know, which I knew, was the actual genesis of the raven.
What is the actual genesis of the raven?
So Edgar Allan Poe, basically, during his lifetime, was not extremely popular. He was like,
he was making ends meet, and that's about it.
So who would you think you would revere if you were a writer in the 19th century?
Ravens.
Not ravens, but like, who's the big dog of writers in like the
Lewis Carroll.
Not Lewis Carroll, but like not terribly far away. Lewis Carroll's like older in the 1800s.
You
think
can only
British,
enjoy art that's older than you.
Think British.
You can't enjoy newer than you are. He wasn't a fan of the Twilight series.
Yes.
It was
I
dark.
should know this. I went to the Edgar Allan.
Who did Edgar Allan go fanboy over?
Yeah, who was he really fan of?
Whatchamacallit? The one with the cat whose name I can't say on air.
H.P. Lovecraft?
Yeah.
Is that who you're talking
No,
about?
not H.P. Was it H.P. Lovecraft?
No.
Cthulhu, yeah.
No.
You're
I think it was
talking
Lovecraft.
about.
Yes. I can't say that name on air.
Okay, I'll give you a hint. Like, please, sir, can I have some more?
Not Twain. British Twain, not British Twain. Great Expectations, Oliver Twist.
Tale of Two Cities.
Yes. Oh God.
Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
He's got hits on hits on hits.
Yes, he's got the one about the magician.
Yeah.
David Copperfield.
David Copperfield.
I can name all of his works.
Yes, that work is...
Charles Dickens. There we go.
Charles Dickens is David Copperfield.
That took way too... I knew a lot of the books at least, so I'm somewhat cultured. So he liked David. I was just saying like David Copperfield. He liked
Charles
Dickens.
As did almost like everybody at the time. So
Okay,
Charles Dickens is like super popular as an author.
Okay.
And his books come out in weeklies, and one of them is called Bartleby Rudge. It's like not his like most famous, but it has famously a raven in it.
Okay.
And these are posted, I think, either weeklies or monthlies. Basically, like, he publishes whatever.
Yeah, you get a little piece of it.
You pay a halfpenny and you get a Charles Dickens novel. Yeah. And basically, Poe, after reading Bartleby Rudge is done, offers several criticisms of it. And he's like, it's like, he did this thing with the raven and I would have gone in a different direction. Is basically, like, half it is like, I enjoyed this. I didn't think it was realistic. Blah, 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 blah. So anyway, Dickens comes over to the United States, and he meets up with Poe. And
because of this?
Well, they like had correspondence, and they weren't like feuding or anything like that. Poe's like, I really like you, but like I would have done this differently. And then Charles Dickens goes like, that's based off of my raven, right? So
he has a raven?
Charles Dickens has 3 ravens.
What?
Yes. So, during his lifetime, Charles Dickens has a talking raven that he has named Grip.
It actually can talk.
Ravens
can
talk?
Yeah, it can like...
I want to do a video on this.
Yeah, so...
I feel like people should know about Charles Dickens's ravens.
Yeah, and like, when I say Charles Dickens loved ravens, like, I can curse, it's hard.
No, you can't.
Oh, I didn't make it kid-friendly.
Doesn't matter, you still get demonetized.
Oh, well, okay. Well,
Yeah,
lose
twice.
the-
I'm keeping track. I'm gonna give you eyes every time too.
I'll keep it.
I'm usually bad about this. You've already lost twice.
I'll eat the soap later and wash my mouth out. So
It sounds very Charles Dickens novel.
yes,
Could the Raven curse like whatchamacallit?
If you curse at the Raven, they can.
Yeah.
So the Ravens.
Like, I'm not very proud about what you're teaching our Raven, Tom. Like, if our Raven might be listening to this, and if he hears these nasty words, what is he gonna pick up?
By ravens, you mean cats?
Yes,
So
they are black.
So when I say he loved ravens,
Yes.
the raven that he had, the
Uh-huh.
first one, terrorized the rest of his family.
So
It
this
was
is
like,
what he gives off, right?
he doesn't gift it off. He this raven historically
Mhm.
like bites at his kids, like
Really?
like caws at other people. Like it likes Dickens
Uh-huh.
basically better than everybody else. And like after like one incident where the raven like nips at the heels of like one of their kids,
Mhm.
his wife goes, you gotta get rid of the raven. He's like, I'll put it in the shed. It won't bother anybody. So he's like keeps the raven. His name is Grip. It has a Wikipedia page, Grip the Raven. And
Immediately goes to look this
Of course. Grip, parentheses,
he's
Raven.
Raven. Yes.
A talking Raven.
Oh, they
kept on pet by
taxidermied
Charles
him?
Dickens.
Yes, when it
He has
died.
a picture.
Yeah, they
He got taxidermy.
Yes.
Oh, that's so emo. Okay.
So Dickens basically goes to him. He's like, Grip. He's like,
It doesn't have a born date. It has a hatched date.
That's very cute.
That is very cute. Wikipedia editors, thank you.
So,
Oh, it's in Philadelphia. We can go visit.
yeah, we can visit this raven.
Yeah.
So, it like dies of lead poisoning. Spoiler alert.
It dies of what?
Lead poisoning.
Why were they feeding it lead?
They weren't feeding it lead. Apparently,
Hello,
like,
old girl. Is what it used to say.
so like corvids apparently like will just kind of like tap at things and like try to eat whatever.
Uh-huh.
And like apparently paint is one of those things that it regular does. So it'll like chip off paint and it'll eat the paint chips. And if you think of the 1800s, really not known for like environmental safety.
Yes. It was a
So-
she, and she drank white paint that painters had left behind. A pound or two of white lead. Dang. That's-
Not compatible with life.
Luckily, the veterinarian. Maybe you can talk about this. We're getting into our expertise. And as a
Not
vet
veterinarian,
tech,
vet tech.
vet tech, not a veterinarian. Would you give a powerful dose of castor oil to a raven who has downed 1 or 2 pounds of lead paint? A rough opinion.
Pretty
You don't
sure
need to
that's
give.
not a good
No, is that not a
idea.
good solution to lead paint?
I'm pretty sure there's a somewhere written
What if it's
castor
a,
oil is
what if it's a
no-go.
powerful dose of it though?
Does not
Which is the
sound
most
smart.
1800s way of
Like I want to
Like,
It
think.
sounds very
how much of a
1800s.
dose? A powerful one at that.
So like
How do you
what
measure a
is?
powerful dose?
Yeah, you know, you just look at it and you go, "That's a powerful dose."
I'm assuming they just wanted to make the raven vomit.
It would probably clear it out of its system.
Okay.
Yeah, because
Castor
castor
oil
oil
goes
mostly
through
go
you.
through you.
Oh, okay.
Is my guess.
Okay. So they're just
If
like.
I know my old timey medicine of crows and ravens, as we all had in medical school. Firstly, how do I treat this raven? Get a powerful dose of castor oil.
Yeah. It's like, what do you need to drink for running this marathon? Turpentine.
Turpentine and arsenic.
Yeah.
They did that, like, arsenic was a huge cure back in the day. They're like, give them a little bit of arsenic. It'll
Yeah.
be good for their complexion. And
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, it's just not enough to kill them.
We're just like winging it.
Yeah,
all
the
time.
lead makes the water
What's the
taste
opposite of
sweet.
powerful then?
Powerful. I don't know. A weak.
A weak dose of arsenic?
Corpulescent. I don't know.
Yeah, there's like another tangent, which is like the 1904 Olympic marathon. If you've ever researched
Yes.
that, where they're basically like, "Don't give them water. Water will be terrible for them." So there's only like
It'll shock the body.
yeah. Yeah. So there's like a ton of foibles that happen along that route, but like one of them is like there's only one water station. And it's like off to the side and up a hill.
So poorly planned.
Well, water,
Poorly
you gotta
planned.
work for it.
Yeah.
So
We earn our water in this marathon, son.
Yeah. Like he's got to drink a mixture of brandy and rat poison in order to make
That's
it through this.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah, like one guy just hops on a car and goes 10 miles.
Okay, so
Yeah.
what happens with Grip
So,
besides the lead poisoning?
yes. So Dickens goes to Poe. He's like, you know that like the character in this book, Bartleby Rudge, is also named after and based after my own raven. And he's like, get out of town. Like, you have a raven and they get like...
This is like the equivalent of an old lady writing about her cats, but it's way more badass because it's ravens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my sense is, like, if you have one raven, that could be, like, chance. That could happen to anybody.
Wait,
like,
they just have a raven?
Yeah.
No one has a raven by chance. You specifically choose to have a raven.
No.
A raven just doesn't set up shop above your cellar door and start
rapping.
Just lets himself. You're saying that raven just let themselves in and then haunt you?
No, what I am saying is...
By reminding you of your long-lost lover?
If I've ever watched a bunch of YouTube shorts of, like, the dodo, there's always this random person who has, like, some weird animal that they, like, that is injured.
What was that, Nathan, for you, where they had, like, the pig saved the dog or something?
Oh,
swam
my,
out.
yes, that was
this
the...
is like ADHD. Going from random topic to random topic.
But hey, like, whatever, they'll follow it.
People acquire ravens.
But yes, people...
This is a known fact.
It's more like, it's possible to acquire one raven accidentally.
Okay.
You find one injured accidentally,
let's
and
just-
you take it home.
Let's
and it's
just
not
all agree.
common.
Let's just all agree that happens.
That could
Yes.
happen to you.
Theoretically.
Like, you don't know. But, like, if you have 3 ravens, that's clearly on purpose.
Yes.
You can't have some sort of, like, oh, it, like, fell in my backyard and I, like, broke its wing and I nursed it back down. Like, you are purposefully acquiring
You
ravens.
broke its wing?
No,
I don't know, ravens
It broke
ravens
its
talk,
wing.
Tom. Maybe, like, the first raven was, like, very, happy with living with you, so it
Very
turned the other
charming
ravens.
raven.
Yeah, just, like, so not a bad place.
Let me in, see? Why is the raven W.C. Fields?
I'm just waiting for the moment you tell me that
Old-timey
Poe
raven.
steals a raven from him secretly or something.
So they get to talking, and he's like, I'm upset with this ending. Basically, Edgar Allan Poe is like fan fictioning Bartleby Rudge, and was just like, I was upset that it didn't go this way, or like you didn't take with this character.
yes.
And he's like, I thought like this would be a better idea for the Raven. And he's like, okay, whatever.
But he did not realize it was based on real events.
Correct.
Like, this is actually what happened.
Yes,
this is a word for word. This is not fiction.
Well, it's like fictionalized, but it's also like based on the experiences of him having a Raven.
Okay.
So it's like he's like, I think it'd be funny if I added this.
I suggest we get a Raven for the podcast.
We
I'm
should-
going to call this a podcast, this live
I'm going
stream.
to veto the Raven.
No, I say we put it to a vote and see, because this is really for the viewers, and I think the viewers would appreciate a Raven.
Would the viewers? Yeah, I would agree that the viewers would be very happy that there's a Raven.
They sound very trainable and smart, and they talk. So we might have to fight for co-hosts.
I'm in.
Language.
I don't know. We'll have to see what point is the cutoff.
Yeah.
What can we say?
So,
Welcome to Raven Talk. This has just turned into an episode of Rick and Morty.
yeah, we could
Two
just,
crows.
we could get a Raven and add
Yeah.
it to the.
To the
I'm
back.
assuming taxidermy.
No, we need
Too
live.
expensive. That
This
would be.
Tom, this
How expensive?
this has
paperwork?
live
Hold
live
on.
stream in the name. It has to be a live.
I know nothing.
Or
about taxidermy.
animatronic,
It sounds
at
like
least.
you have some knowledge of
So
taxidermy.
ravens are a protected species.
Ravens
so-
are protected.
Oh yeah.
What?
Wait, does that mean you can't
Paperwork
taxidermy
required
them?
to own one or have a taxidermy one or anything of one is insane.
Are ravens endangered?
I don't know if they're necessarily endangered, but I do know that they are protected.
Whoa. Okay, so you learn everything new every day. So ravens are protected, but like, okay.
If
so
they
There
like,
go
are
extinct-
rehabbers that have
If
the
they go
ravens, though.
extinct, Wikipedia is just gonna say instead of extinct, nevermore.
that would be very funny.
But
I've-
If I know anything about like Wikipedia, they would have a flame war over the editing of that.
Oh yeah, I'm like, we should not have this. It's like, I think it's worth it. Very
Wikipedia
long
can't have
edit.
jokes. It must be blah 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 blah.
You have jokes all the time. See my list of jokes on Wikipedia page. Like, I'm sure.
Remember
it
that
exists.
conversation about subtle context hidden in things?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to make it subtle.
Subtle. Nevermore.
So anyway, the end of this is I made a reference that was just like, it was Edgar Allan Poe was an admirer of Charles Dickens, and Charles Dickens effing loved ravens. So it was like a
Okay.
callback to the original.
And it went viral.
It went viral for me.
Okay, so 5 people.
320 likes.
Okay, that's a good number of likes.
So
Good
that's
job.
a good number.
job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, but I woke up and I got that existential dread because I'm like,
Oh, what did I do? What did I F up? Like,
Yeah.
Who is mad at me now?
Yeah. What
The
did I
internet
say?
I
is
always imagine
angry.
the person that's like on these days, like Instagram, TikTok, or any of those that film something, and then the next day, if you look through their past posts, they've only had maybe 900 views at most, and then they have 1.4 million.
Yeah.
And that moment you look, it goes, your video has 1.4 million viewers, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, how do we parlay this into something else? So, anyway, this is ostensibly a live stream about business, technology, medicine, and...
Do we want to just kind of discuss different businesses that Servetty would be good for?
Well, I always have, like, I came up with an idea last night.
Mm-hmm.
So, we always thinking of, like, businesses and how to market Servetty and what we should do, and one of the ideas I had is let's just start businesses. So we document the entire history of this business, etc., like from idea conception. So like I might pitch a couple ideas right here. I had a ridiculous one last night, and I'm glad Anna is here because I wanted to get a woman's opinion on this. So have you ever seen in like movies or cartoons that there's like a big fancy cake and they have a celebration and then a woman pops out of it?
Yes. I know the trope of woman
jumps
popping out of cake.
Like hot lady jumps out of cake.
You put them in after you bake it, not before.
You could offer that as a service. And I
baking women into cakes?
Well, you don't bake them into the cake.
Making a cake for women to... I would think you would just have it staged with a fake cake.
Frank, I have
yes.
a secret for you.
What is it?
Only like if any of the cake is real, it's the little
it's the
top part of the cake. Yeah, no, I would build the whole thing out of wood. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Yes, and one of the trope jokes is that they actually bake the woman as the cake.
Yeah, so
she jumped in before they put it in the oven.
You just don't ever come out.
So, I think it would be funny or attention grabbing. The question I would have is like, pro or bad, or what's the line there for?
I don't think you're going to get a lot of business.
Is the service the joke? Like, what is the service?
The service is you hire us and a model that we have.
Mm-hmm.
She gets, like, we've created this cake out of cardboard.
Does your business card say cake
model?
What is your job? Oh, I'm a cake
jump
model.
out of cakes.
You know how people exit cakes. I'm one of those people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, this is a super niche business.
Yes.
Like, it is people dependent. It's obviously like...
I feel like you need a community of rich people with no sense.
Yes.
Like the cosmopolitans who are like, who are you using for your cake, girl, this autumn?
So I was more thinking of this from like a logistics standpoint.
Okay.
So like, if you were to start this business,
yes.
Okay, what would you need? So my sense is, you gotta have like a constructed cardboard kind of...
Oh, cardboard, Tom.
Yeah.
Not in my cake woman business.
Well, okay.
It is balsa wood or higher.
No,
in
so
our
like,
slapdash.
So cardboard is like the perfect material because you don't want it to be heavy. You can make it kind of strong.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's already got ridges and things and like that for structure, and you can like make stuff out of cardboard.
Okay, new poll.
It's cheap.
We'll have the Raven poll. New poll. What would you make your woman cake base out of? Tom is voting for cardboard.
I'm with Tom on that one.
Cardboard?
Yes.
As a woman cake?
Yes.
You people are ridiculous.
You disguise it. It's not like an actual cake.
So the way the actual...
Have you ever seen like baking shows?
Women in cakes get sweaty. It's gonna this is gonna fall apart.
So like,
I care about long-term usage. I want a woman cake that my grandchildren can use as I pass the business down to them. This is the woman cake your great-grandfather used. It still has the original icing. I don't want some slapdash cardboard woman cake.
So number one, I've thought about a bunch of these things.
Okay, what did you think about? What did you think about? What is... You thought into cardboard. Come on.
Okay, so like, you obviously want to have like the topper that is the actual cake. This is how bakers actually do it. So if you look at like a 3-tiered cake.
Spoiler alert.
Yes.
Okay.
So like any like massive cake, if you watch any baking show or anything like that, it's either like foam or cardboard or like
Are you gonna have like a chocolate and vanilla or like strawberry design? So there's 3 different to choose from.
You know, that's a good idea. I've thought about it.
Or just one standard cake is what shows up every time.
Because, like, my question was, do you think you provide the cake as the cake model jumping out service?
Yes.
Yes.
You have to. You'd have to have it so that it goes seamlessly with your cake bottom.
Yes. Okay, that's what I was thinking as well. And then you just like decorate. So it's an add-on.
Part of it is you bring the cake, but you also bring it inside.
You upcharge them for also getting the cake as well.
No, you don't upcharge. That's in the package.
Well, yes.
You're not gonna do a surcharge for cake. You do a surcharge for cake accessories.
If you're looking at odd businesses, you should look at the ones where you go as people's groomsmen and like bridesmaids, where they hire extra to fill in. So if
That's
like,
a thing?
yeah, like same day.
Yeah.
So like, let's say two of your groomsmen get way too drunk and can't make it to the actual wedding. You need 2 stand-ins. There's like you go on, you can order.
This is like an Oscar seat filler
Yeah.
for
Well, like-
weddings.
Basically.
Imagine, because what bride the day of wants to find out that like they have all 4 bridesmaids and only 2 groomsmen, and now they need 2 people to walk. Where you're like, I already have a multi-thing of suits. I am ready to walk. You have as many people as you need to fill in, and it's
We offer them a cake
$400
full
per
of
spot.
groomsmen. So if they need it, we just bring them out the cake, and the groomsmen come out.
That is a good idea. You only need yourself in that situation.
Mhm.
And, you have a suit or whatever. But, like, what if you don't match? Everybody in...
Well, that's like part of the back of the business. You have to make sure you have enough like suits to kind of fit most of the colors. And if they don't have it, you hope that they have a groomsman on staff who has the extra suit.
Okay.
You can't just get rid of bridesmaids. That would be just as easy. Just be like 3 of you, the 3
Some people are
largest.
very
cutting them.
particular about
Yeah,
that.
you didn't.
It's
Sorry,
a
you didn't make the
booming
cut this
business
wedding.
Some places it really is.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I feel like if you're a groomsman, you know that you're supposed to show up hell or high water, though. Obviously, there are going to be things that...
Obviously things happen, but it's apparently a good business of like stand-ins for weddings.
Do you have to have a personality, or do you just have to show up?
I think you just need to be a
You
body.
pay extra for that.
You pay extra for personality? Like, do you put a profile on them online of like, this is our, A
I don't know,
class,
you
this
tell
is our
me.
C class?
I've seen it as apparently
Like, you
a
want
business.
a fat guy in a Hawaiian shirt? We got that bundle for a certain amount. He's got lots of personality, but he's not pretty to look at.
And you need, like a
Then you have,
Harvard
like, your
graduate
James
that only
Bond.
speaks about law, and keeps your family members busy.
I'm envisioning, like, a grid of profiles where you just, like, kind of...
You
kinda pick
click
and choose
online,
which
you're
ones
ordering.
you
You're like,
want.
I need
Yeah.
a groomsman, and it's going to be black tie, and I need him to have these conversation points for the night,
Yeah.
and then just order.
Yeah, you can just order people online.
And then
Hey.
you just read your, conversation cards, that you've come up with of, the conversations that they want at the wedding.
You get, like, a
Just-
dossier of,
Yeah.
like, what to talk about,
Yeah.
who you are, who are the guests at the wedding, etc. That seems insanely involved.
Well,
It's a
these are
one-day
weddings. People
event.
are insane with weddings.
Yeah, that is true. And also, I feel like that is
And you don't have to be absolutely perfect at it.
No, you could just be like, oh, this is my friend Dan. He was on my t-ball team, and we've known each other
Yeah.
since we were 7.
Now, the key is, did they make a speech?
That's
A
extra.
lot
That's
extra
extra
for that.
That's
for a speech?
extra.
I think.
But honestly,
yeah.
how many big events have you gone to and you would never have noticed that someone wasn't supposed to be there?
Well, obviously, at a wedding,
especially
you're
at
not
a
going to
wedding,
know
you're
at
not
least
gonna
half
know
the
everybody.
people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's plausible, but also
If you're
seems,
talking lucrative businesses,
seems also kind of ridiculous.
Well, you know-
Oh, it's like the cake business is not ridiculous.
It is, but it's like I've never you have heard of people jumping out of a cake before.
Yes, but I've never seen one in real life.
never in real life.
Yeah, that's like
Seen it
that's
once.
that. You've seen it once. Someone actually. What is the context of someone leaving this cake?
Not for the stream.
Oh.
So this is a what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
So
guy.
this is
This is a members only stream topic.
but there are a lot of contingencies around this. So you gotta, we were talking about the frosting and the whatever of the cake. The reason why you wanted a cardboard
Mhm.
is 1, light. So 2,
Oh, I thought like physical light. I'm like, light's not getting through
It is-
cardboard,
it's-
Tom. It's not translucent.
yes, it is.
It's not heavy.
It's
as in
not
light.
heavy. It
Yes.
is light.
There also is stuff that you can use to make fake icing that sits on cardboard and glues well to it.
Yeah,
you can use,
And
like,
that's
pocket
gonna be
stuff.
heavy though.
Yeah.
No, what you could do actually is you can grind up the cardboard.
Don't you
And
normally put
extrude
these
it.
things just on wheels so the weight doesn't matter?
You could put it on a wheel. My thought
Just
was.
one?
You just gotta be able to get
Yeah,
through a doorway.
the unicycle cake. Yes.
Perfectly balanced. Like all things should be.
Is the
Teetering
cake
back
gonna
and
be
forth.
Welcome to Thanos's
It's like
women
zooming back and
cakes.
forth.
Does the cake open up or is it absolutely destroyed? Because then you're gonna have a lot of business.
No, don't you
business
remove
expense.
the top of the cake? Oh, she does. Does she burst out of the cake?
She comes out of the top of the cake.
Just
Like
holding the
some-
top of the cake?
Like a
Or-
zombie undead through the ground.
I feel like that is better for show,
Yes, I feel like that. You have to have like the hand come out and just like.
but practically I feel like that is probably a mistake, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
So you don't want the
Things
model...
I've learned in 30 years in the woman cake business.
So if you have a model jumping out of this cake,
Yes.
she's probably in some sort of let's say, scandalous outfit with heels on. So anything that could potentially be a slip and fall hazard, aka icing. Icing, I feel like, would just act as a banana peel if you got it on the wrong part.
I feel like this cake business needs OSHA involved.
I mean, yeah, it probably does.
Can I see your employee handbook?
Don't suffocate.
Yeah, do not suffocate. Do not suffocate.
Yeah, my other thoughts were like security. So like you probably need somebody along, like pushing out the cake that you hide.
Yes.
And just be like, okay,
an assistant, a cake person.
Yes, you have a cake roller outer that is actually, their role is to be the security for the whatever event. If somebody gets a little too, let's say,
handsy.
Handsy, or like too friendly.
Yeah.
You can be like, hey, okay, she's here for a thing. She's actually the model. But like you've seen similar things where like if you're in an event, there's a hired model for whatever purpose. They could be like on,
I've had
spinning
things where
things.
spinning thing, giving out champagne. Yes,
Yeah.
where they're acrobat / model / entertainment.
Yeah.
I go to some fancy parties like Squid Games.
Like Squid Games.
Just like, I mean, you had to have entertainment. Like, what kind of party is like without some sort of entertainment?
The question is, were you edutained?
I was edutained quite a bit. I learned, don't be part of those games. Odds not good, but you win a lot of money. So
my main concerns, number one, is this sexist? Possibly.
Is it sexist
to have a woman?
Do you also offer a cake man?
There you go.
Yes, that was my solution to that. Is like you offer. I feel like you could offer multiple.
Does he come out of a beefcake?
Obviously. There's also the opportunity of the joke, which is like you expect the sexy woman to jump out.
Is this for them to like cheap out of it and make a joke out of it? Be like, I don't want to really pay for the woman, so let's just pretend the woman's dead.
No. You pay for the same person, like the same idea, the concept of like the Marilyn Monroe or whatever, but she's like 70 or 75.
Oh no!
So you do it as a joke. And
That'd be a hit in the nursing homes.
Yeah, I think that'd be very, very funny.
Yes.
Or like you rent out the cake to somebody if like a wife wants to jump out of it or a girlfriend wants to jump out of it or whomever wants to jump out of it. So you offer like different services. Yeah.
Like a homecoming or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. So you offer the specialized, we will deliver the cake or we will deliver the cake with a model in it. The model gets out.
You never answered my question though. When you jump out, are you holding the top of the cake that's real?
No. You do you don't want the model to be like you take the cake off first and you start serving it to people and then boom, surprise, the model jumps out.
As you take off the top, the model comes out.
Yes, as you take the top off, the model comes out.
Okay.
I'm assuming sing something like Happy Birthday or some other song that they like, does a whole like routine, whatever. Maybe sticks around for a little bit for entertainment, takes photos, etc.
I feel like if you're gonna let third-party people get out of the cake, you're gonna need a training video.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like these people need to be like certified, or at least go through like
you have a background. You probably talk back and forth and be like, "This is the procedure for where the cake is." You have to have the logistics of this, which is like, where are you going? Because this thing is going to be pretty big. How do we get this
doorways.
thing in?
Yeah.
So there are like business aspects to this. Like if we're going into a hotel, is there a freight elevator? We don't want people to see this. It's a surprise. So like, how do you get it in and out? What is the planning?
This is basically Ocean's 11.
Yes, it's half Ocean's 11.
This has gotten very complicated very fast.
Oh yes.
Well, like that's
Tom's thought of all the details.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things where I was just like talking in general is you don't realize how complicated something is until you start actually like thinking out the actual plan of it.
I want to see the casting call for the cake model of must not have vanilla allergies, must be okay with eggs.
The funny thing is like I know
is there
in
a
my
height
head,
requirement?
Probably. What if you can't get out of the cake?
I know in my head like the person I would call for this.
You have a person in mind for cake model?
Yeah, she was on Broadway.
As a cake model?
No.
Does she have cake model experience? No. I want 3 years of cake model experience.
Oh, you jumped out of a donut?
I just imagine the women like being like, I do like cakes and I like getting my picture taken.
Yeah.
And be like, no, we need a different type. You need to fit it in the cake.
But I feel like this would be a funny-ish video to document the process of this. Like, there's bits, and you can go like beat by beat through. Like, okay, how do we solve problem one? We have to get a cake. It's probably we have to make one, and you go through that process. Number two, now you have to hire a model.
Yeah.
So like, how do you do the interview process? Like, you go through the standard like meet in an auditorium or something like that, you have a panel. We can even do like a 3-person like this in front of a table and just be like, so tell me about your skills, blah 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 blah.
No, usually the way it's done now is you do like a video cast.
Yeah.
So I would say have them like videotape themselves jumping out of a muffin or whatever they can to like recreate it at home, because they're not gonna have a full cake experience at home. So like get the pastry of your choice and put it on your head, and then send us a self-tape of you removing the cake and then coming out of it, so we kind of see what kind of skills you have as your preliminary. And then from that, you narrow it down to like a field of 5 for like the live casts.
Well, I feel like you need more than one person to actually be on call for this kind of thing.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Because like, it's a gig work kind of job.
It's gonna be very last minute sometimes.
Well, I feel like you would have to have at least 48 hours notice before,
Mhm.
like, actually doing this to actually coordinate everything.
Yes.
Because, like, you can't be like, I need a woman at a cake in 2 hours.
I'm gonna
like that
undercut you.
situation.
I'm gonna be the emergency cake competitor to yours. Of like,
Stat, I need
No,
a cake in
no.
2 hours. Can you get it for me?
I feel
no
like
job
this-
is too tough.
This is not like an impulse purchase.
I feel like it is. Like,
Oh, I
especially
feel
if you have,
absolutely
like a
it
bachelor's
is.
party or
Someone
something.
freaking out because you didn't get the cake woman, and then you're like 2 hours before the party, like, we need a cake woman now.
I feel like that's every like bachelor party.
Yeah.
I gotta do something for my buddy. Wait, there's a cake woman service.
And there's also, like, this is location dependent. There's only certain places in the world where, like, this is actually happening. Like, you're not doing this in, like, Boiling Springs, Kentucky. It's going to be New York City, Las Vegas, Los Angeles, Miami.
Ridiculous
rich people cities that you it can be. And then you would have, like, travel. How do you have a car? Where do you store this thing once you're done with it? So there's, like, logistical problems in actually managing this.
You need a trailer.
My other
I
thought,
know a good fake cake storage business that I can give you their information. Yeah, they're the best. They have like humidity control.
well, that was my thought, was to do one of those like self-storage units or whatever like that. So if you like price it out, how much does the unit cost? Like location of it. Does it have climate controls?
That's important if you're making it out of cardboard.
Yes. But I also looked up, like, how do you waterproof cardboard? Apparently you can.
You can Scotch guard it.
Yeah, well...
Like, do you not know the basics of cake womaning, Tom?
This is why I do my research.
Yeah, you waterproof
This is what
the
I'm
cake.
doing.
Yeah.
This is real.
And this is the story of how Servetty pivoted into the woman cake business.
Well, no, we should just, like, my general idea is to run semi-fake businesses. Like, actually run through this, but, like, do it in a... My quote would be like seriously silly, like take something silly incredibly
but we are
seriously
going
and
yes.
execute to the best degree that you possibly can.
Whole
but
hog
obviously
on it, commit it like it's a
just
proper business.
whole asset.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
like
Go through it of like accepting orders and what that would be like.
Yeah,
Okay.
like actually go through the whole thing and like profile everything and make video documents.
When you're trying to figure out how many orders you're gonna put on for the month, just roll a d20.
Well, number one was like, how much do you think that would cost?
$1,000.
$1,000?
Yeah, that's
To
what I
make
would
a
say.
very good cardboard cake.
Oh,
I'd
wait,
say
no,
about-
how much
sorry.
would it cost, or how much would I charge?
How much would you charge?
I would charge $1,000.
$1,000
for the proper model level cake
Yes.
woman.
Mhm.
Model level, because that person you're gonna like if I know my prices. Are we talking LA? Like what venue are we talking about? If we're talking about Vegas, it's gonna be like $3,000 or more. Because the people who are proper acrobats who do that, it's multiple thousands of dollars.
I think it is.
If we're talking about Instagram model, $5 and a like on their Instagram.
That seems rude.
Oh, they'll do it for free time.
Like these Instagram
They're just
models-
not women you want.
Sidebar.
To
Some of these Instagram models are making like an insane amount of money.
Well, at
Yes.
least they're saying they are. I don't know how much they're actually making, but some
I
are.
think like the top of the like they are household names. In
Absolute
some
top
cases.
tier, yes. But
Yes.
I would say for every one that's actually doing that, there's like 10,000.
Yeah, you're not gonna get some top tier Instagram model to jump out of no cake.
No.
enough money. Enough money.
Yeah, no.
You'd be
You're
surprised
not gonna
if
make
you bring
enough
them $1
money
million
doing
in a
cake
cake. A lot of women
Yes.
are gonna pop out.
But then you price yourself out unless you're like going to Dubai.
I was gonna say, yes,
and then
it's
that's
just
a
like-
whole nother thing.
Dubai cakes.
Dubai special prices.
Yes.
Yeah, that is a minefield, which is also just international business, because that's like very close to human trafficking. Like it's like as close to the line that you could get, where it's like, oh, okay, somebody hired a model to go overseas. They bought all the plane tickets and like.
We've
do you know
hidden her
this
passport in another cake.
Yes.
So that way we know she can't leave until she pops out. That's how the contract works.
I feel like you would not want to breach international until you had a lot of
Can
experience.
Servetty actually handle international business, or is it all pretty much still like domestic?
We mostly do United States and Canada.
Okay.
So that is a limitation of our fine software product. But we are working on getting all the different things. The issue there is more legally. Like, as you go internationally, the jurisdictions have different rules, and like it's basically like if you're doing business in our country, you have to abide by our laws, which is reasonable.
Yeah.
So, but then that causes a headache of like, now you need to know the laws not only for your country, you need to have somebody who's dedicated and being like, well, Croatia does this differently than Belarus, and like the United Kingdom has specific laws on like who is and who is not an employee, so things get a lot more complicated there. Like, theoretically, we could sell the software itself. The issue is more when it comes to payments. So payments and telecom are two very highly regulated, and things like knowing your customer and money laundering services, and then the specific jurisdictions around taxes. So how do you handle the VATs? We've gone through this process, and like technically the system is capable of this. It's a question of when you want to flip the switch and allow that to be public. So like, and there's also currency conversions. There's a lot of things that you have to like actually go through to
That's why I didn't know if you were kind of hitting the ground running with that, or if you were just kind of still tweaking it.
So there's also like payment providers. There's limitations of like who you use as your payment gateway. There are different ones for specific countries. India has its own system. China's got its own system. We would never probably go into China because of just that's a whole other can of worms. They are more exclusionary to software businesses. They have rules on basically like if you come in, you got to give us everything, and then that is they don't
a lot
like
of ownership issues and a lot of
So there's traditionally like a Chinese version of every single Western application. So the only one that is like not is like WeChat, which a lot of people have heard about, which is the kind of everything commerce app, which is messaging, etc.
Yeah. When I was in China, everybody used WeChat, I believe.
Yeah, WeChat is like ubiquitous. It's like WeChat, and then what's the other international chat application? WhatsApp that everybody uses. So those are like the two ones that you need to know if you're doing international business.
Yeah, whenever someone asks me what my WhatsApp is, I always go like, oh, this is shady. Whatever we're doing here is like, you're not in the U.S.
Yeah. Where are you?
Yeah.
So anyway, back to cake logistic pricing processes.
Yes.
So I would say the minimum you would have to get is $1,000. That was my head.
Minimum $1,000. What's the cheapest you can make this? I think you could make the service run a lot
cheaper. If you're doing
cheaper.
like a homecoming or
You
something,
could do
I
this
feel
for
like that'd be a
$100
special
or
deal.
less. I think you could do this. I think get the pricing down to $50.
I think it entirely depends on the quality of the model that you are
And
having
the amount of time.
Or if there even is a model.
If this is a quick one-off, in, out, 15 minutes, jump out of the cake, I could get this down to $50. I think.
I think gas and stuff would make it still a little bit more, and I wouldn't.
I'd say
I wouldn't
within
undersell
a 30-minute within a 30-minute locale, $50.
I think you need to budget 2 hours of time.
Yeah.
So you need to get there, do the whole thing, run through, because like you want it to be more of an experience. You're not just jumping out of the cake. The model's probably hanging around for like 10 minutes. At least taking photos.
You could do this as a one-man operation, not literally man. You could just have it as the cake person.
You could do it as a one-man operation.
Yes, and you bring the cake in, like right before you distract everybody, you get everybody in one room, and then you bring in the cake, and the person goes in a hatch in the back, and then they're already set up, and then you bring everybody in, and on the specified whatever, you come out of the cake, and you go, okay, cake's done, and then you just leave. 50, yeah, but I mean, that's to get the price down. If we're cost cutting, then you have one person instead of two people. You can have them come and go within 15 minutes. Bing, bang, boom. Done.
Well,
and you do it on short notice.
I feel like one of the things that you have to do is you would time it. So like once you have like you probably have to go through a couple prototypes of actually making this thing to make sure that it's seamless. You're probably not going to get it right the first time. Hopefully it's not complicated enough where it's like takes more than 2 tries on it. But like you make the first one, you figure out what's wrong.
Just find a theater set group to build it for you.
Yeah, probably. That
to
would
be honest.
Yeah, I would probably consult whatever your local theater people are. They always are building up sets really quickly and like slapdash putting together something that looks.
Like if you wanted to save money and actually get it done first try, just be like, this is what I want. This is the idea. I have the cash for it set aside. This is how much I have about. Can you make it happen? They probably could, so you're not wasting multiple attempts trying to get something made. And then you are already ready to hit the ground, at least with the cake. Because you don't.
I would say you do one cheaper prototype, and then you go to make your final, once you realize, like, after you've done your first 50 or so cake jobs, then you go, like, this is the issues that we're having with the current prototype, and then you make your pro model.
Mm.
And that one is, like, when you're willing to commit to, like, $1,000 investment for a fake cake.
Yeah. So, I think it's basically, you got two people, at least.
Mhm.
You got the model, you got the security / cake roller person.
Yeah.
You need to have a van
Mhm.
or some sort of trailer.
Yeah,
You're
transport.
probably going to need 2 people to honestly be able to lift it out of a trailer.
This is why you make it out of cardboard.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah,
you probably
you make it easily rollable.
I would probably.
Why don't you just make the thing that it's traveling in the cake? So, like, you make a car that looks like a cake with a roof that's a sunroof, and you just park it, and you just take out of the trunk the cake portion.
That is not
boom.
street legal.
Oh, yeah, you can make. Oh, yeah, anything's in South Carolina. Everything's street legal.
We
Like,
would
there
not
are
make money
very,
in South
there are
Carolina
very
with this.
few rules on what constitutes a car in South Carolina.
Are you suggesting we make a Ferrari cake?
Yes, I'm suggesting we make a Ferrari cake that a woman jumps out of it. Like, this is a step above it because you can actually drive it like a Ferrari to the location. Do you know how easy this is? We can get this way less than 15 minutes. We can get this 10 minutes, and, like, this is just, we're talking efficiency here. We're maximizing efficiency. You drive the cake to the location, and then you park it, and this person sees this massive cake outside, and they're all excited because you got a cake as big as a person, or as big as a car.
I'm trying to keep this serious
And
for you.
This is completely serious. We're doing this.
What make of car is this? Carvel.
Carvel, yeah. It's an ice cream car.
Ice cream car.
Yeah.
Street legal ice cream
It's a street
car.
legal ice cream car.
We've gone
It's not good in the summer.
We've gone a little bit too far. I like the idea of a car, though. I
Yes,
feel like
this is why I'm a pro in the woman cake business, Tom. Because I got
That's
ideas.
just woman in fancy cars showing up model.
No, you put the cake on top on the sunroof, and she pops out of the sunroof.
That's
and then
just
she
her
just
holding a
drives
small
on. You don't
cake.
even have to clean it. You drive off fast enough, and the cake is just gone, and you're ready for the next one. No cleanup.
I worry about moving parts. But you, as an engineer, you want to reduce the number of moving parts.
If we have any engineers in the chat, can you please tell us the logistics of a moving cake on a car? How fast would we have to accelerate to wipe off all the traces of the old cake? Could you just, on your way to the next one, go to a car wash?
So now we've got the problem of how are we moving this car? This car.
The car moves itself. It's a car.
No. But
That's the beauty of
okay,
it.
cars typically move
Yes.
based on having gasoline.
Yes, you put
Or-
gasoline in the cake car.
yeah. Okay. So.
What is the problem? I see no problems in this plan. This plan is perfectly executed and everything's thought out.
Okay. So if you make a cake car, what is your okay? Paint a
I
picture.
want someone to come in midstream and be like, so you make a cake car.
Paint,
no context.
paint
No
a picture for
context
me
to this.
of how you think this is working.
Okay, so you take a VW Bug with a sunroof.
So you take an actual car.
You got to start with an actual car.
Okay,
and
so
then you modify it. You modify the car to look like a cake.
I was thinking more of like a Power Wheels.
No,
situation.
a real car.
Okay, so
An
it's a real
actual
car.
full car.
So we are investing in a real car
Yes.
that we are modifying
To be cake-like in appearance.
to be cake-like in appearance.
Yes.
So we're doing this like Dumb and Dumber, where they have like
Yes,
mud-
like a
okay.
mud car.
like
mud,
mutts
yeah.
cuts
Yeah.
How
cars.
is this gonna fit on an actual driving lane? A circular.
It's not gonna be that much
giant cake.
wider. It's just gonna be the size of a car that you do. Like, you know how people do the modifications of their things,
But
like
it has to be like
Hondas and whatnot.
even.
Yeah, I mean, you can add an inch on either side of a car.
That's not,
It's not gonna be too
round
much.
enough.
It doesn't need to be. Not all cakes are round. Cars are
It's a sheet
square.
cake.
It can be a sheet cake.
Sheet-
Yeah.
But also, it like doesn't need to really make sense. You just need to have like
Be
enough
like,
of it to
you have to
buy
have
it.
someone come out and
So-
have the disbelief that there's a giant
Yeah.
cake in their
You
driveway.
you just
Like,
have
you
a
drove me
car
a
that is
giant
styled
cake.
like a
Is there gonna
cake.
be candles
Yeah.
on this
People,
cake? Giant
yeah,
candles?
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
people would get it.
Yeah,
People would get it immediately. Like, yeah, you just style the car like a cake.
Yeah.
Okay, continue along. Like, okay, where do we drive this cake?
Oh no, the
To
cake car breaks
wherever
down.
the people are.
So we're assuming this is outdoors then.
Yes. Or you can drive it indoors if it's a big location. Like if you have it at a hotel for a fancy party, like the ones I often attend, you can use the freight elevator to drive the car up, and you can park it on location. If you all have the kind of people that are going to be getting a car cake woman,
Yeah.
they have the ability to put a car indoors. You put it in
Sure.
your
The construction of this
garage,
to make it at
you
least
can-
a nice cake if you're
Yes.
gonna be driving it in a nice car.
Oh, it's gonna be a nice
It's gone
cake.
up.
It's gonna be a nice car cake.
The real question is, how much can you charge for it? These car cakes.
You can do it down as $50.
No.
I get
That's
this down to
underselling
$50.
yourself at no profit.
I'm just saying that's the lowest point. If I'm making the Walmart of
There's,
cake
there's
cars.
no way you can do this.
Yes, absolutely. So
What is
first,
the gas?
Gas time.
oh,
The
you
wear
make
on
it.
the car.
You make it if you do a hybrid.
Make
Okay,
it-
a hybrid within 30
we're
minutes.
gonna have
how
a
much?
Prius
How much is
cake car.
Okay, let's do even a Hummer. A Hummer. How much is driving a Hummer for an hour? How much does that
Look
cost?
that up.
Okay, so a Hummer probably gets what, like 10 miles to the gallon at best.
Pushing it.
Hummer cake? A Hummer limo per hour. I don't want that.
So
$22 at home.
let's say you're driving for an hour.
2 gallons of gas at the most, which is a ton. Like
I think you would need more than 2 gallons of gas.
10 gallons of gas.
Okay.
$20 in gas.
30
$20 in gas.
30 bucks.
30 bucks in gas. A
Okay.
ridiculous amount.
Because
Of
you're going
gas.
there, you're going back.
30 bucks in gas, and then the person, if you go bottom basement, a person wanting to be an actor, you give them $12 an hour.
No.
Yes, that someone would do it absolutely for $12.
It's-
I'm not saying pretty or attractive. I'm saying Walmart quality.
No, the
The
problem
person is technically a
the
woman.
problem is, okay, so now your fixed costs are $42.
Yeah,
So now you have $8 to cover everything else.
a cake.
So you
That's
have
the only other part you have.
insurance, maintenance, logistics.
Yeah,
for
but if you
time,
do enough,
you have to
that's
coordinate.
almost nothing.
So if you answer an email from if you answer like 3 emails from
Okay.
people, this is gonna cost
if you're
you more
making
than
if you're making the
$8.
cakes
Mhm.
It's
cheap,
not worth the
if you're-
time. Then you're making less than minimum wage for renting out and to doing all this,
Mhm.
and then you have liabilities. So like if it's an actual car,
I'm not saying you're
what if
making
the
a
act-
ton of profit. I'm saying you can physically.
if
$500 is the minimum.
I'm not saying
Sorry.
it's worth doing.
Okay.
I'm just saying where
To
is the
break-
lowest
what is-
amount that you could break even on? I would say about $50.
I think you really cheaped out. Probably.
Yes, of course,
$50.
incredibly cheaped out. You're doing this is not with all the expenses.
If you are the
Once you
model
have everything
yourself.
paid, yes, like owner operator.
Yes.
If you are owner operator and you're making the cake top
We're just
yourself,
like trucking rules. Like you can. It's not as.
We
It
can-
doesn't make as much sense unless you're actually owning the car.
yes, if you're actually owning the cake
I'm pretty
car,
sure a one-man, what do you call them? Magician makes more,
Oh yeah.
even on their
probably.
lowest
Yeah.
call.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I'm saying if you're trying to get this bare bones to work in rural Alabama, where you're not going to have people spending $1,000 for a cake car.
I'm more thinking of this like to even like call it like a plumber or an electrician.
Yeah.
That at least
No, I'm
costs
saying
you
you can
get them to come
you can
out.
charge a lot
costs you
more,
like
but some of this is
$70.
not skilled work
Yeah.
at all. Like most people, I'm
Can you
assuming
drive?
can can you
It's
drive?
some kind of
Can
skill.
you escape a cake?
I would say like being attractive is a skill.
Yes,
some
but we're
manner.
not talking about attractive. We're talking about the cheapest.
Yeah, sure.
Attractive, yes, you're scaling up based on attractiveness, and that's going to be one of your main determinants of how much you can upcharge.
Hmm.
If you're going for the Walmart, if I'm spending $50 on a cake girl, I'm expecting them to be just a girl. I'm not going to be expecting anything else.
I feel-
Versus if I'm spending $1,000 on my cake girl, I'm expecting like a decent looking cake girl.
yeah, I would assume like that is the reason why.
I wonder if they have a
this.
union.
Probably SAG.
Yeah, that's probably SAG. No, I think
What
that's
is the
theater.
model? Is
That would
them-
be theater. So that's
Do models
acting.
have a union?
Models don't have a union.
Probably
as far as
not.
I know.
No.
No,
No.
I don't believe so. No, actually, I'm trying to think if they do. Modeling groups. I don't know if there's modeling unions specifically. There could be one, but I don't think that they have a big overarching one like SAG-AFTRA.
I've never seen an extremely attractive picket line that would give it away for me.
Yeah, I'd be like,
Oh,
oh,
the
this-
models are striking.
Would they? I'm gonna make fun of them for being dumb. They don't even know how to do it. Like the signs are all backwards.
We're getting the
Model. This is like
Zoolander
Zoolander territory. It's hard being ridiculously good.
Hey, you got to treat everybody as an individual.
Yes.
But also, like, you never know.
Okay, writing back in.
Okay.
Yes.
I feel like the car is obviously more expensive than $1,000 if you have to charge it. It's just more specialized thing. It's utilized less often.
More than $1,000.
Yes. Because if you are actually like modeling up this car,
Mhm.
like you're gonna be
You
driving.
have a lot of upfront costs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Versus like, it's pretty cheap to make a cake.
How much is it to make a cake car? No. How much do you think that would cost to modify a car to look?
I'm saying to make
To
a
look-
really nice cake, like
Yeah.
a really nice cardboard cake that's going to last. That if you this is if you budget and you choose the correct people to help you make it, $1,000.
That's it?
In
To
terms
make
of
a
styling,
proper cake car?
If
I
you
would-
choose the right people, yes.
I would say bare minimum $1,000. My thought would have been like 2.
I think that's still low. I would say like $5,000.
It depends also how much
It
lumber you
depends
end
on
up using
what
with the cardboard.
modifications you're making.
I would say if you're hiring a proper artist and doing just direct modifications on the car, like it still looks like a Volkswagen, maybe 1,000. If you're just doing a paint and you're doing like caulking or something on top
So
of it.
my frame of reference for this would be like, have you ever taken a look in like an old college yearbook?
Yes.
So for like homecomings, this used to be a tradition across the United States, is like they would take a car and make a float out of it.
Yeah.
So like
No,
you would assume
car
that
float.
yeah, so like
Yeah,
they
for
would
like parades,
like
Rose,
homecoming.
Rose Day or whatever it is.
yeah, like the Rose Bowl or
Rose
something.
Bowl, yeah.
So like a bunch of amateurs make some very nice things,
Mhm.
and like you model up the car. I'm assuming you would want
A
to
couple $100 if you have a whole bunch of college kids.
Yeah.
If you want to make it like that.
Trying
If you
to
just
find
do it out of
something here that
roses,
actually-
the problem's not going to stay.
Well, this is more of a trailer, so you're kind of stuck in with a car and a trailer. I'm seeing if there's like a decent actual.
See if you can
car
find one that's
float.
a cake.
But like
Same.
the thought in the back of my head is like
Mhm.
if you modify a car in such a way, like you can't use that as a daily driver. Whereas
I
like
say you do. That's free advertising. You're missing out on all sorts of free
They're
cake
all,
advertising.
You're
they're
gonna
all
get hot
trailers
buns.
for the most part. This is the best car float cake I can find.
No, that's not great, but it'll work. Yeah.
Most of
It'd be
your
too obvious.
cake floats are like on the back trailer.
too late.
Oh, we've
Yeah.
already started.
Okay, so we're back. Sorry for the technical difficulties. We're gonna probably split this up into 2 videos, but yeah,
We're probably
we-
forced to because that's how it
we can
happens.
stitch it together.
Oh yeah. In
Well, we're
post.
not-
Yeah, that
but
works
we're-
for live
we're-
streams, right?
We're not
We're
gonna.
not going to. It's
for
going
the
to be
like
2
the-
videos.
for the
yes.
VOD is
Yeah.
more what I'm saying.
Okay.
So I was wrapping up with talking about Excel, but other business ideas. So shower thought businesses. You've been in New York City, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Several
both been
times.
to-
The Windy Apple.
What is that in The Simpsons? It's what's the name of the town? That's like the big city.
Capital City.
Yeah, I think it's just Capital City. Of all the names, that is
Yes.
the most
They call it
generic.
Capital City.
Capital City. So
New York City.
are you familiar with a character known as the Naked Cowboy?
Yes, I'm familiar
No.
with Naked Cowboy.
So the Naked Cowboy is a guy who has a guitar in Times Square, and he basically wears just a pair of underwear and
Yeah.
cowboy boots and
Tidy
cowboy
whities.
tidy whities, and
Yeah.
he has the guitar strategically placed. So
He
that
is
it looks-
he is a handsome man, which is an important aspect of it. It's not like handsome enough.
yeah, good looking.
If
Like
you're from Iowa, you're like, ooh.
yeah.
Yes.
So like he
If
is.
you're in New York City, you're like average person. Because standards change a little bit.
That is true.
Yeah.
Yes, there is a.
So he's
reason-
a nearly naked cowboy. Got it.
Yes,
Yes,
because
it
fully
is-
naked would have bigger problems.
I believe he's also registered the trademark for Naked Cowboy.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah,
So-
you gotta protect that IP.
Yeah. I actually did research this.
Did you really?
So, side tangent.
He's just trying to explain his search history. Tom, why does it say
Naked
naked cowboy up there?
Person.
Research business.
So, the
Writing a
naked,
screenplay.
funny enough,
What?
the Naked Cowboy did get in a lawsuit with Eminem Mars
About what? Where's the overlap between Eminem and Mars? and
because
Naked Cowboy?
M&M's made advertising that resembled the Naked Cowboy's likeness. So he sued them.
As an Eminem?
and
Or just a person that was like a naked cowboy?
in like Times Square.
What was the commercial? I need the context.
in Times Square where they have all the digital billboard
Yeah.
advertising. They
Yeah.
would do
And they
like,
often have M&M stuff there. Isn't there an M&M store? or
there's an
something?
M&M
Yeah.
store. Famously, there is an M&M store. It is a tourist trap in Manhattan.
Oh, see, this
You
is
don't
the
need to
perfect,
go to the
This is the
M&M
perfect
store.
merging of IPs of the Naked Cowboy and M&M's.
That's what the M&M Corporation thought. So they made, they have like random, they dress like an M&M up or
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that in different
Like Santa
themes
or
and
something
stuff
like that. Yeah, yeah.
They did it with the Naked Cowboy garb. So you imagine like an M&M in tidy whities with a guitar
Yeah.
and a cowboy hat.
Oh, yeah.
Cowboy
And he's
boots.
not happy with that.
He is very
He was
unhappy.
not sweet, he was salty.
Yes. You did not melt in your
No.
mouth.
Again, explaining the search history.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Naked Cowboy is upset with M&M's
Yes, he
for
sues.
portraying his likeness.
Yes, and they settled because of course you settle all these lawsuits. You
Of
don't
course. Yeah,
But-
I don't want to go against the Naked Cowboys.
But reading the jurisprudence on this, I'm like,
Yeah.
Naked Cowboy has a case. He does.
Yeah.
He has like
No, that is a
protections
legitimate
of all
case.
these things.
Yeah.
So anyway, the Naked Cowboy is a mainstay of Times Square. He's out there like probably 5 to 7 days a week.
I did not see this.
Oh yeah, he's a big deal.
He's a big deal. Like people take photos with him. So I had a different idea for a character. So I did the research on this, and so number one, what are the concerns that you have if you're going to be a street performer in New York City? Like, do you have to register as a business? Do you have to have a license? Do you have to have a permit? And it turns out there are certain places where you do have to have a permit. The permits are like if you are in a park, so I'm like, now I know why the Naked Cowboy is in Times Square because this is not a park space. And like that's basically it. Like if you are and if you're playing music, there's different things, or if you're like making noise.
Yeah, you
it's
probably
just
have to have a
generally a
performance
nuisance.
license.
You have to have and it's pretty cheap, and you can
But
get
strumming on a guitar is
probably not enough to get to.
Yeah.
But he's also like, how much is he actually playing? Like it's more to just be like kind of outrageous or like to point out.
It's for the meme value. It's
Yeah.
not for the performance value.
So like a different idea of like the
It's like
ridiculous.
women aren't popping out of the cake for the cake. You know, like
Fair.
you're not doing it for his guitaring ability.
Yeah, you're
Doing it to get a selfie
to
with
get
a
a
Naked
get
Cowboy.
a photo with the Naked Cowboy.
How long
Look
has
how
this been
ridiculous.
going on?
Oh,
20
years.
years.
Like I'm surprised this
Same
guy is
guy?
still.
Same guy.
Yeah. Like it's impressive how long
I'm
his
not the
career has
original
been.
Naked Cowboy.
Yeah.
The original Naked
Oh,
Cowboy.
is
I'm
it-
like-
Are we the Dread Pirate Roberts?
Yeah. There's always been a Naked Cowboy.
When he's ready to retire, he mysteriously gets taken out by another
passes
cowboy.
down his cowboy hat and guitar to
Yeah.
the next.
And someone
Naked
else picks
Cowboy.
it up, you know?
Yeah.
Strips down to their underwear
That'd be
and stands
funny.
in his
Like
place.
if you wanted to value the Naked Cowboy business, how much would you be able to sell it
You gotta
for?
buy in. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it worth? My guesstimation. 2 million? For the IP of the Naked Cowboy?
I would probably say less, only because like if you're buying a business, a lot of times you're just buying a job.
Yeah.
So like you're buying an existing business. Say you're buying like HVAC or electrical or whatever. Like for the first couple of years, like you're probably not making a lot of money because all of this is you had to raise capital in order to buy the business from somebody else. So the problem with the Naked Cowboy is if you are buying this character or the rights to the character, like you have to be the Naked Cowboy.
Yeah.
Like there is no possibility of delegating that work to somebody
And that
else.
doesn't transfer well.
No.
Like, this is like New Coke versus original Coke.
Yes.
Like, people are gonna be outraged that this is not the Naked Cowboy I grew up on.
In the business, we would call this the Naked Cowboy Keyman Clause.
Keyman clause?
So like anybody who is key to the operation of the business
Oh,
is
needs to
called a
keep,
key man.
stay with the operations,
to
yes.
stay with
he
the
can't
operation.
switch it with Rajiv, who is just gonna come in and be the Naked Cowboy. People will be
Exactly. You
upset.
probably, if you have like an engineering or
Yeah.
you're working in something where
Yeah, these
like
are not
finance,
equal to replace.
Yes, you are a key man. You probably stay on with the operation for some amount of time in a limited capacity role. So if you are the founder or the owner of the business, you know a lot more than the person who's actually buying the business, and this is the dance